welcome to MOOC News, your daily news source on development engineering. Let's start off with the weather forecast. In Europe, throughout the continent, we expect smooth sailing in the near future. Moving on to North America, there's already a slightly increased chance of trade barriers imposed by the government. Now moving down south to South America, we have increased chances of mismanagement and corruption. And then finally, once we're moving to Africa, that's where things get a little spicier and you might have to prove your skills of marketing your product properly, especially in the sub-Saharan region below the Sahara Desert. That's it from my side. Let's move on to Sophie now, who's with our latest correspondence. Sophie.
Thank you, Dario. Joining us live now is our Africa correspondent, Diego. Diego, what's the most important thing to consider when dealing with bureaucracy in Africa?
Oh, money.
Thanks for that, Diego. Now over to Alexandra, who's reporting live from Cambodia for a short summary of the first elements of the product value chain tool.
Thank you, Sophie. The product value chain tool is used to identify activities that add value. We analyze them to reduce costs, to be more sustainable, or to increase our uniqueness. The first segment that adds value is the design. It needs to take into account constraints and the needs of customers. The second segment is the production. The third one is the choice of market, and it needs to be chosen carefully. This is it for the first segments of the product value chain. Back to you, Sophie.
Thank you, Alexandra. Following the news, a short documentary where local experts are interviewed about the deployment of new technology in a developing country.
In this section, two stages of the product value chain will be reviewed. First, look at distribute. The definition, distribution channels, shipping, packaging, and some tricky problems were discussed. For distribution channels, there are partner channels and our own channels. Both of them have their own benefits and losses. About the shipping, three questions need to be focused on. They are what product, what origin, and what destination. There are also some tricky problems in this stage. Then, the final stage of the product value chain is support use. 4 topics are involved, which are commissioning, training, maintenance, and recycling. Let's now listen to the ideas of an expert from an X3 company. So, were these 2 segments useful for your project?
There are 2 major things I can remember. The first one is, as I told you, X-ray parts were manufactured abroad, and we realized that once assembled, our system was very bulky. This could have drastically increased transportation costs. So identifying this problem this early in the project allowed us to plan an assembly line which was close to the customer location, so I mean the hospitals. Secondly, I also think about the feedback. It allowed us to maximize the impacts of our system in doing appropriate and regular adjustments. For instance, based on hospital feedback, we have developed a new version of our software which is much more intuitive according to users. This has reduced manipulations errors, which could endanger patients and damage the system.
Finally, we're speaking with one of the founders of the X-ray machine company Global Diagnostic X about how they use the sustainable business model Canvas. For our first question, what is your value proposition?
Our value proposition is a robust X-ray machine with a reduced total cost of ownership for low-income countries. It is equipped with a digital system which can improve the diagnosis.
And our next question is, did you consider your customer segment to be the Ministry of Health, doctors and radiologists, or the patients?
Those 3 are important, but the customer is the Ministry of Health that is responsible for purchasing the machine, as the doctor are the ones that are going to use it, and the patient are the ones that are going to benefit from it. So it is important to consider all the needs of all these groups.
And finally, how did you prioritize between the environmental, social, and financial aspects of your product?
In fact, it was extremely important to consider all the 3 factors equally as part of the triple bottom line. Our product is based around profitability and waste reduction, as well as improving healthcare.
Great. Thank you for talking with us. And if you're watching and want to learn more about these topics, come see the Development Engineering class product pitches next week.